But once they put me in the cell, which was, I think, smaller than my bathroom, with a very small 0 watt bulb, 2 holes on either side, one near the door and one on the opposite side, freezing temperature with 2 blankets. Like, I couldn't extend my arms also in that room, I'll say that. And that's the time I realized, oh, this thing has happened to me.
Hi everyone, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata. Today's video is really important because there is a case study being covered. 7th December 2007, we go to Seoul, Korea. An incident happened on a VLCC. The name of the ship was Hebe Spirit and it was managed by a big company called V Ships. The captain of the ship, that time, Captain Chawla, is today sitting with us as a guest. Welcome sir, Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal, sir. Thank you so much.
That day, 6 a.m., Chief Officer saw, approximately 6 a.m., Chief Officer saw that a barge owned by a big giant of that country was approaching very close to the ship. Immediately the master was informed. Unfortunately, the weather was rough. The ship was anchored near the port. All precautions that a shipping master, that a shipping company, that a ship could have taken were taken. But the barge went out of control and rammed the ship on the port side. 3 cargo oil tanks, 1 port, 3 port and 5 port were damaged. Unfortunately, the VLCC was a single hull tanker. For people who do not know, single hull tanker means there is only one hull. So in that case, if there was a hole because of the hitting of the barge, the cargo oil inside started gushing out. 3 big holes, the sea getting polluted, and because of the big crane hitting the forward mast as well as the ship mast, the communications of the ship were lost. No communications, only VHF working. What all a master could have done was done. What all oil could have been transferred from the port side to the starboard side was done. What all actions could have been taken were taken. But in the end, the master and chief officer were sentenced to jail. A lot happened during this time and there was a big legal battle, and finally the master and chief officer, after years, around 2.5 years of legal battle, were set free from Seoul. It's a big and trust me, it's a harsh world. The journey was really tough. I went through a lot of articles before coming in contact with Captain Saab, and this journey is not about what the incident was all about. This video is about what all happened after the incident, what all support he got from the maritime community, where he thinks things could have been better, how was his time in prison or when he was at bail, all the things what happened today with him during those times. We'll cover those aspects and see what are the learning lessons. Welcome Captain Saab to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks to you for doing such a good video on me. Thank you.
Thank you. For those people who do not know, I'm just putting across, I live in Dehradun and Captain Saab says just around 500 meters away from my house. And 2007, when I came to know about this incident, sir, I wanted to meet you when I came to know that you were scot-free. I was just a young 4th engineer at that time in 2009. It's been 14 years since then, but I could never meet you. I did not know a child do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, but I never met you. But the day I decided that I have to cover this story, especially after what has happened with MT Hurricane Idun Seafarers, so I knew I have to contact you, meet you, and then I have to make this video. And thanks for joining, sir, because sir, it's been 15 years. Remembering those years back again, it's going to be tough. Thanks once again, sir.
It's pleasure is mine.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, let's get back. So, the incident happened, oil spill has happened, media is covering all things, shipping company personnel have come up, the port state people or the marine pollution board people came on board and the interrogation started happening. So, during this interrogation, now let's just start from here. So, the interrogation started happening. So, what was your thought process? What were you going through all the time?
See, firstly, I knew whatever I did was right. Whatever I could possibly do, I did. Whatever I had studied all 3 years, that came handy. My experience on board with my seniors during cadetship, everything came handy during that. So whatever I knew, I did. Whatever was there in the ISM, we followed. So I was sure that okay, I couldn't have done anything better than that, and rest all depended on what all goes through the proceedings and all. So initial interrogation, yes, on board was not so harsh. After that, once we were called ashore, then the worst thing started.
Like?
That the interrogation process, it was really, I think what all we see in the movies and all, same thing was happening. But in this case, they were asking me questions in Korean and I was answering in English through an interpreter. I went through, basically I was shouted at during those time. I was called a liar during interrogation, shouted at, and my lawyer was sitting with me, but he was not supposed to say anything or interrupt, otherwise they will ask him to leave. So that thing was really tough. The marine police interrogation, then it was lengthy process, starting in the morning 10 o'clock, 9-10 o'clock it should start, and it used to continue till late night, sometimes midnight, sometimes little later than that. And
14 hours, 15 hours each day of
yes,
interrogation.
every day for continuously for few days. It went on and on. Once that thing was over, then it started with the prosecutor, same thing, and they had their time, so they used to start in time, but there was no finishing time.
So like sir, the incident was very simple to, if we could see those case studies are available on internet as well and are being taught at a lot of maritime training institutes. It was simple that the ship was anchored, you gave away leeway, you contacted the VTS, you contacted the barge, people on the barge did not inform. It was very simple that the problem was on the barge end. You were anchored, you were on your side, but still, why were you being interrogated so much when you were not at flaw at all?
See, it was a simple incident, but the other party involved had a very good hold in the legal system. They had very good hold on the government. So they were pressurizing, that's what we felt. Because during court proceedings also we could, I'll tell you what all were happening in the later questions. But here, see, they just wanted to ask repeated questions again and again. Like I just mentioned that I was shouted at for same thing. They were asking me, say, 100 times, and I answered couple of minutes, and at one place I said 5 to 10 minutes for the same answer. So that's what I was called a liar. Even in the courtroom I was called a liar. Yeah, I'm changing my statements. I think couple of minutes and 5 to 10 minutes is, if you are so tired, and that only once I said that. So, or maybe it was the interpreter's mistake that she said 5 to 10 minutes. I don't remember also I said 5 to 10 minutes. I was always saying couple of minutes for that answer. And so these pressures were there. So even like mine went for a couple of days, agreed. She also went for a couple of days. You can imagine, hey, second officer or third officer who was not on watch that time, theirs also went for a day or so. So how much questions and what all things they were asking regarding us, the ship's procedures, what all we were following. So everything was covered during that time.
So what I have understood, Captain Saab, over here is that there were a lot of questions being asked again and again. So in one question when you answered, you were all the time saying couple of minutes, but once only out of a single question being asked 100 of times, you said 5 to 10 minutes, rather than saying couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And just because of that one thing, they said that you are a liar.
Yes, he shouted at top. I think I have not, nobody has ever shouted at me like that. I used to, that was the most shocking, like everything is serious and all. You are going through full whole day, and I think late in the evening, the marine police personnel is shouting at me and saying like that. And you won't be surprised, like one of those interrogators in the end, when the interrogation was finished, he came and told to me, that time, see, earlier he was speaking only in Korean. You are a lawyer, he spoke in English. See, so he understood English, but he wanted to continue like that. And in the end, when the interrogation was finished after a few days, he came and he said, Captain, I think you are innocent. I'm sorry for what all you went through. So, and regarding you asked, told me like it was a simple thing and anybody can understand. Yes, in the courtroom, one of the owners of the shack who lost his livelihood because of this incident, he didn't knew English. He, during one of the breaks, he came and called the interpreter and he told me that he introduced himself and he said that what the interpreter said, that in India, if your car is parked in a stadium parking lot and some other cars comes and hits your car, who will be blamed? Then he said, he didn't wait for my answer. He said, Captain, I'm sorry, this is Korea.
So everybody knew.
That fellow understood, who lost his livelihood. Basically, he must be.
Who was he actually who lost
He was a shack owner.
Shack owner means?
One of those small eatery joints at the beach.
Okay. Because of this incident, the oil spill thing happening.
Yeah, he will lose his livelihood.
Yeah,
he lost his livelihood.
Because of marine pollution happening.
See, our lawyers were expecting that they will be very angry at us. They might come and harm us. That's what they were worried. But that fellow understood that what all has happened. After reading that we were at anchor at a designated place, at the anchorage. After anchorage, we had informed that okay, we have dropped anchor at this place. The VTIA said, okay, Captain, it's fine. And still, we were blamed that
why were you anchored over there?
Why were you anchored like that? Or it's our fault.
Wow.
So he gave a very good example, which maybe I couldn't have thought of, about the parking lot. If that fellow understood, I don't think it was a very difficult case which any other layman couldn't have understood.
So during all these things happening, so once the prosecution started, so were you immediately sent to jail in prison custody? What happened?
No. See, first the interrogation. During marine interrogation, I was still the captain of the vessel. I used to come down for a few days. I came down and I went through the interrogation. Then for the legal battle, I had to stay back. In the meantime, company arranged for my reliever. He was on board, so I got relieved. And then after that, the prosecutor's interrogation started. That time we were kept in small roadside hotels and all, kept shifting from one place to another, because they didn't knew what will be the mood of the people, and if somebody might harm us, or even maybe try to convince other people to say something else against us or something like that. So we were kept in different roadside, those dirty hotels, I will say that, for few days. And once the court proceedings started, then only we were shifted to Seoul. and we were kept in a hotel there.
So you were never, so okay, court proceedings started.
Court
So
proceedings started in the lower court. Everything went okay, and they found us not guilty. So then, once the case went to the High Court, then everything changed all of a sudden. We were not allowed to speak in the courtroom. We could make out the judge was very partial, and the lawyer of opponent's lawyer, you can say, he was also very harsh, and basically our lawyers were a little bit scared of him. He said he's very shrewd and he can do anything in the courtroom, so Captain, be careful. But we knew we were right, and we just stick to whatever happened that day. And that one thing was that was there in my mind, that I just stick to what all happened, and I didn't try to make stories regarding this could have happened or that, because in hindsight you shouldn't speak anything in hindsight, which I never spoke, because if I was not there, I was not there. Before coming on the bridge, I was not on the bridge, so I didn't know what all happened. I came to know what all happened through the slides which were shown by the opponent lawyers, or from our lawyers, or from the basic course recorder and other things which were there on the, that I came to know later. But I didn't knew. So I stick to those points. So that way, but still, then he gave us a punishment for 2.5 years in the higher court, and after 36 days or so we got bail, and then the court,
sir, I have to stop you over here,
okay.
because sir, the day first thing I got is like I have watched that movie called LLB. So in that, if you have got a shrewd lawyer on the opponent side, you have to be very, very careful. So that person, the heavy giants of the industry on the other side, your opponents definitely must have hired the best of the best lawyers out there. So, but still, you were right. So what I understood out here is, whatever happened, the truth, you tell that, and be honest, and don't reframe or think about anything. Just be honest and clear with your thought process whenever you're in these kind of proceedings. Am I right, sir?
Sure. Even if for your colleagues and all, if maybe you are a junior officer or even a crew or anybody, or if even you are a master and maybe one of your subordinates got involved in such a thing, you should not say that through your experience this thing could have happened, or that thing could have happened, or this thing should have been done, because that is the job of the experts who are doing that. You are not the expert. You were there, you are as a witness. So you tell them what things happened, what you know, not what you think should have happened. Because you were not there. Many things, people don't tell the full thing. They will say half things, and you can also be penalized for that. So be very careful if you are involved in any incident. Say what you know, and for experts' advice, they will ask somebody else. There are a lot of, if you are a master and they are asking you for your advice on your second officer, in that proceedings, let another master come and judge it, because there will be experts from your side as well as from the other side. Okay, if you think he is at fault, you should justify it with points, not I think it should be like that. If you think like that, it's wrong. Maybe that fellow can
get into a
very big trouble regarding that.
Okay, so the day you got to know about this 2.5 years prison, so immediately what was the first thought that went to your mind?
Basically, at that time, my mind just went blank. I didn't know anything like such a thing will happen. It took me say couple of hours to realize what all happened, or it took me after till I reached my cell. Till that time I didn't know what's happened. But once they put me in the cell, which was I think smaller than my bathroom, with a very small 0-watt bulb, two holes on either side, one near the door and one on the opposite side. Freezing temperature with two blankets. Like, I couldn't extend my arms also in that room, I'll say that. And that's the time I realized, oh, this thing has happened to me.
So we see a lot of movies. We have seen in movies these kind of things happening. When you are telling me about this cell, I can imagine that cell in front of me as well. I've seen the food coming down from the door, sliding down below.
Yeah, it was from the small hole, and the other side there was a toilet hole. I'll not call it a pot. Freezing temperature. I will get only half a jug of water in the morning to wash my face or do whatever I want to do, and rest all whatever I have to do, I have to do it with the cold water. And minus temperature, freezing, shivering, and that thing was really a nightmare.
So what about the chief? He was also in the nearby cell with you?
No, we were not allowed to
talk to each other or
talk
see
to
each
each other or see each other. He was on a totally different cell. And till we were in the prison, we were not allowed to see each other.
So for those 36 days in prison, what were the thought process going on in your mind? But what kept you going? Because all alone in solitude, not having anything to read, write, or something like that.
I used to get first few days, first 1 week I was there in that cell. So that next day, my lawyer came. One of the lawyers came, who knew English. The other lawyers didn't know English, so he was the only one who spoke English. So he came to meet me alone. He met also the chief officer, must have met him alone. So that's the time he explained, like, okay, we'll go to the Supreme Court, but that will take time. And I asked him, what about the bail and all? They said there is no bail procedure in Korea.
That must have been saddening, shocking.
Then no phone calls, you cannot do any calls or anything like that. For 1 week I didn't call, I didn't know what's happening to my family, what will happen. And both fears were there, financial as well as emotional. I thought maybe I won't be able to see them again, like even during the proceedings when it was going on in the High Court, sometimes it used to feel like that, like they will never let me allow to go back. But never thought it will become so bad. During after 1 week, once I talked to my wife, then I was a little bit calmed and all. In between, our company representative also came and said, Captain, don't worry, we are trying our best. So whatever we can do. And also on the monetary fund, also they said, you don't worry about that. We'll be sending your salary to your family and all. So that way I was a little bit calmed down. But still, that isolation and being confined in a small room for 24 hours in a day is something like very depressing. And once a week you can go and take a shower in a common place. That is what was allowed. It's our customs, Korean custom. That I said, why you want to take shower every day? So it was very surprising, basically. So that's all. We are used to having bath every day, so it's difficult for us to say whether it's winter or summer. Okay, you can skip 1 day, not a week. And that too, having shower in a common place was very, very insulting also. With all the other prisoners, you have to go and take shower. And that too, without any clothes on.
So when I'm listening to this thing, sir, it's difficult to imagine. My wife tells me at times, sir, कि when you are just about to die, before that, for a few seconds, your whole life comes in front of you and then just goes away. And then, so during those days, I guess there might be countless of thoughts going on in your mind. I have done something different. Could I have done? Did I join Merchant? Was a wrong decision? What were those things which were going on in your mind again? If you can just go back and just think about it. Financial freedom, financial settlement was made. Company
Yeah,
told that the
okay.
salary. You had talked to your wife. She told, okay, we are okay. Even though I feel that she must be really very disturbed.
Yeah,
But she
sure.
told you that I'm calm, don't worry. But still, what was going on in your mind after knowing even all these, after these things?
See, still I was totally in the dark. I used to see. Then after 1 week, then I used to start. I started getting information from outside. Like one of the company personally came to Korea. He was there, and then they arranged. Earlier it was a visit once a week for me, but then they arranged that okay, at least I can get a visitor in between also, and uh, so he used to come. He came and he told me about what all. Even big bosses came. You won't say from all from UK and all. They told me what all is happening, like full shipping community is coming together, and people are really very upset in the shipping industry that what all happened, because they say it's a 0 to 100% case where legally experts couldn't find anything wrong with what we did, and still what all we are facing. A lot of some people from different organizations also came, marine organizations in between. They visited me and they told me like, okay, we are with you. So that was very, or their representative in Korea who came and visited me, like, we are with you, don't worry. And that was very supportive. But still, that isolation part was thing, because we are not used to staying in a small place, and the only time which I used to walk was going and meet these visitors. Then in the meantime, they arranged that okay, at least uh, I could have a walk for half an hour every day. So uh, I have one more incident. I just came to, I remember. In the prison, one of the person who used to serve food, he was a prisoner, and he was a butcher by profession who had hacked his wife into pieces, and he was serving sentence. He came and he told me like he understood what all happened. What is happening with me is wrong, and he used to feel sympathetic. He used to one of the pictures he drew of my wife. He has not seen her. That a lady is there in cold wind and she is coming to visit me, just to like keep me a little bit or encourage me. And he gave it to me, and then he made a small duck swan with small pieces of paper. I think he gave and he gifted it to me like okay, Captain. Because with hands only, he used to speak very few words of English. It's for you. So that was very touching, and that kept me going.
How many days were you confined to that prison, sir?
I was there about 36 days.
36 days.
Yeah.
For people who do not know, as Sir told before, that in Korea there is no provision of having a bail in India, which is fortunately very common. So, but there have been, till then, there were only two cases of bailouts happening. One was for the president's son, Korean president's son out there, and second one was the case of these Indian seafarers, Captain Chawla and Chief Officer over there, they were also bailed out after 36 days. Now, captains are in a huge country like Korea, with the opposition being having a strong hold in the entire country on the legal system and everything, I would say, influencing them. How could even this happen that you guys created history where throughout the media things were happening? Worst oil pollution happened ever in the history of Korea. Two Indian seafarers responsible for that. How could this bailout happen?
See, it was. I'm really thankful to the shipping community for that. The first time they came together and they were fighting a battle against a developed country. I'll say it's a developed country, not a developing or a underdeveloped country. It's a developed country, and they knew that what all is happening is wrong to us. So that's why they came together and they put a lot of pressure. And when the full shipping community comes together, they had to listen to what all is happening so that we can have a fair proceeding. So this thing was brought forward to them, in front of them, through their embassies around the world, especially in UK. So that helped, that put pressure on them. And reviewing this, we were not knowing that we are getting bail today or something like that. Or even our application has gone for bail. Because all of a sudden, in the evening, say 6 o'clock, 7, in the morning, yes, in the morning that day, I was surprised. Like, one of the jail supervisors, he came to me, he said, Captain, you are having trouble, I'll arrange for extra mattress for you. I said, all of a sudden, a mattress for me. I said, I'm managing, it's okay. If one more mattress is there, it will be like, otherwise sleeping on the hard floor was difficult. So then in the evening, they said, okay, they called me around 5-6 o'clock. Yeah. And still we were not knowing that we were getting, I was not knowing we were getting bail and all. Then they brought us to their office and they asked us to wait. After some times, they gave our clothes to us and said, you wear it. And because still we were not knowing. I think something else. Then even my chief officer was there with me, so we were talking. I said, all of a sudden they have brought us together, both of us. I said, when they gave us the clothes, I said, maybe somebody is coming to visit us or we are getting a bail, still not sure. Then he said, after some time somebody came and said, you are going, in broken English. So
that must have brought a huge smile and a sigh of relief.
No, still we are not sure, but till they were waiting for paperwork and all. So around 8 o'clock or something like that, I don't recollect the exact time. We signed some papers and we were allowed to go out, and outside our wives were waiting, and even the company representative was there. And that was, I think, a big surprise for us, and a happy one.
Watching your wife out there standing in front, you could have never have imagined. But when you saw her just coming out of the prison, what was your first thought, or what was your first reaction?
No, see, she in between, after a few days, after running around in India for say 10-15 days, she had come to Korea and she came to the prison to meet me. And through Indian embassy, they had arranged that she can come and meet me more frequently. So she was there with the kids. But bail, nobody knew. That it just came all of a sudden because of the International Marine Organization's pressure. So that's what I feel.
So when you talk about international maritime pressure out here, there might be a lot of organizations, whether present nationally or internationally, because as far as I remember, this news was all over the media over here as well. I still remember vividly that people of Maritime Union of India, NUSI, in Mumbai, breaking the televisions made by a particular company which was on the other end.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of media shout, even in the national maritime and internationally. What kind of support were we getting out there? Just needed to know a bit.
See, everybody was writing letters to embassy. That is a big thing. Their representatives were going and meeting the ambassadors. Mostly, like, see, shipping, still the center is UK. So if something happens there, it's a big thing. It's a big news. And if a lot of organizations, they are giving a letter of support, their own findings and all to us, and what all which shortcomings which they had put in our high court statements and all, they were being cross-examined and written in the letters. That's what must have been there, all that things, and which were put forward to them, and that's why Supreme Court had to consider our bail application.
So the second case in the Korean history till date, you got bail, and I also heard that there was supposed to be a protest outside Korean embassy in UK with the maritime people as well as the Sikh Federation. Am I right?
Yes, that was supposed to be there.
So maybe that these all kind of pressures
That would
helped.
have been a very big international news, and would have put a developed country into a very bad limelight. So these things, but earlier we never used to think that these things matter, but still, now I feel these small things also, this was a big thing, in fact, mattered a lot.
So today, just I'll come back to the thing. So, do you feel that as a seafarer, like being a part of a community or being a part of a union matters at times, whether it is MUI or NUSI, at least even a part of Seafarer Association in our own city or somewhere, because you need to be a part of a community somewhere. Do you think it's important?
Yes, it's important. So see, if they are doing something good for the community, it is very, very important when you are together for good purpose. If they are just, see, some organizations which are there, which are just for get together and all and killing time, that is for your personal this thing, socializing, that is a different organization. But as you said, MUI and NUSI, these organizations are really important, or CMI, I will say. These organizations are very important because they are playing a very, very important part in this thing. See, even there are people in these organizations who are very, very helpful. They used to like call me and tell me things. Some masters who are very senior, retired, some lawyers, marine lawyers and all, they are all a part of these organizations. Like people who have left sea and have become marine lawyers, they are also part of it. So they used to give very, very, very good legal advice. I'll say one of them used to call me up and he used to say, okay, Captain Chawla, you don't speak anything because maybe your voice will be recorded and all and can be put used in the court of law. So he used to just advise me on what all he used to go through the media, and used to tell me, okay, if this thing is happening, this is what your legal rights are, and these things can happen.
So that was a support.
Yeah, that was a support. Like that's how that was. See, after I was granted bail, when I was there in a hotel, that time I used to get, because I was not visiting the Supreme Court or anything like that, but even during High Court proceedings and all, sometimes I used to feel like somebody is following me or something like that, but never got anybody like hate comments or anything like that during all the proceedings. That will also I'll say that.
So how supportive was your company? I just want to know, you were a part of V-Ships, a big company, because we always tell people join good shipping company. How important is that? We'll come to know from this role over here. So how was your company supportive?
Well, they were very supportive. See, I will say financially is okay, even emotionally also. Every court proceedings, somebody, our manager from, it was managed by Singapore office, he used to come and visit me. During my interrogation time, when I was being interrogated in the by the marine police, which used to last till late at night during Christmas times. So see, the interrogation used to go during Christmas holidays, because 7th December it happened, and during Christmas time all the restaurants and hotels were closed. And see, I am very particular about food. I couldn't eat Korean food even in the prison. That was my biggest issues. I couldn't just put that thing into my mouth. I don't know why, but that thing was there. So he used to be waiting for me. One of the biggest big shots from UK, they were there with some fruits or yogurt or whatever he could buy from the near grocery store which was open. And because he knew that since morning I hadn't had anything to eat, so full day the interrogation went through. In the afternoon during lunchtime, I must have had 1 or 2 bananas, that's all. And so he used to be waiting for me. That was a very big thing, being like the people maybe whose name we used to read in the manuals, they were there to support me.
That's a big thing.
That was a very, very big thing. And see, that's how we come to know that, okay, so much support I have. And the company thinks about me, that, okay, that they are there for me. And then even they used to arrange, even see, P&I club and all, their big shot used to come and visit us. And how they convinced them to pay for our legal cost, that was also I think a very big issue. Most of the time in these legal matters, they just leave the seafarers away, and nobody covers their legal costs. As in many cases you must have heard in the past also, you have seen some ex-seafarers selling small goods, coming on the ship and arranging money for their livelihood. I was provided everything, so I'm really thankful for that.
So just asking generally, say if you are right, and even in legal cases, then a P&I does not cover, but in that case, a good company is there to support you. They do cover the legal cost at times. Am I right? If you are right, if you have not done something wrong or as such.
See, there is nothing which is written in your contract. See, there is no contract like that your legal costs will be covered, and no company is paying premium for that. That your personal legal costs will be covered if you go through legal aspect of it. So it is just the goodwill that these people, they cover the legal costs. Otherwise, nowhere, if you go through the legal proceedings, I don't think, I have not read that this thing is covered in by any insurance company or any P&I club. The personal legal proceedings are covered. Okay, they will cover whatever is regarding the ship and all, that will be covered. But personal, they can just leave you like that.
So not just your legal costs were covered, you were given even your salary throughout the time you were there, and not just that, even an increment which you were due for after a year, that was also paid by the company.
Yes, that was paid.
That was paid. So after the bail time, for how much time were you there in Korea, just for the proceedings at the Supreme Court to end?
That's for I think a few months. That didn't last long, but that was the procedure in Korea is, it's you don't have to visit the Supreme Court for that. They will go through the old proceedings in the lower court and high court, and they will pass the judgment. So only your lawyers will be present there, and you don't have to go there. So I was just waiting in my apartment which was given, for the proceedings to end.
Approximately how much time? 1 year, one and a half years, 18
See,
months?
the total proceedings in Korea was 18 months.
18
One and a half
months.
years I was there in Korea, which included that prison sentence as well. So
So assuming for out of 18 months, 2 months initial phase, so for those 16 months or 15 months, when the proceedings were going on in Supreme Court, were there any thoughts coming, oh, I might have to go back to the prison, I might have go, that fear must have been coming, recurring, or no, it was not there? Yeah, or you thought, no, no, I will be scot free because I have not done anything wrong.
see, basically what all is happening behind doors, I was not there. So to be frank, I really didn't knew what was happening, and I didn't want to think also about what's happening, because it took just 2 to 3 months in Supreme Court total proceedings, so it didn't take much time after that. But to be frank, I didn't want to think about that, so I used to keep myself busy quite a bit.
Your family was with you there, or your wife was just going?
She used to keep coming and going back, so that was happening because one of my kids was in the school, so his schooling also was important. But school also was very supportive. They used to give leave. Otherwise, she was just between India and Korea most of the time.
So
In between, like yeah, she went back after my bail. Then my kids had to attend the school and all. She went back and I was there, but I used to keep myself busy. That's all, not thinking about what all results will be there. Because one thing good had happened, that I'm out of prison, so didn't used to think about much about that.
So 2009, sir, when you came back with all those harsh memories, or not behind but with you, so why did you stop sailing?
See, I went to sea after that as an auditor, as a trainer, but I didn't want to go as a master because I thought maybe I will not be able to do justice to my job, what I used to, what I had been taught or what I had been trained for being as a master. So that's why I left.
So what do you mean by you were trained for? You mean to say, like, if I am a seafarer, I am taught that life at sea comes first, then comes the environment, and then comes
The ship.
the ship.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Right? We are taught that.
We are taught like that. Safety of life is first. But if after that I got, maybe I might, what I will say, I might start thinking about safety of my legal safety first. So which will not do justice to my job. Because still, if you are master of the ship, you are responsible for those 20-30 people on board. And I think still master's priority should be safety of life first. Irrespective of what all I went through, I'll still say safety of life is very important, because each member on board, he's got a family, and which is dependent on that. You will not just ruin one person's life, or one person's life depend on you. It's the full family whose life depend on you. Everybody, his brothers, sisters, wife, kids, all are dependent on that one person. So you just don't ruin one person, you just ruin one family.
Point very well taken, sir. Now we are coming to the end of the video. Through this video, when it will go, and whosoever will be watching, definitely that person, if he is in merchant navy or about to join merchant, that person is going to get discouraged. Oh, these things happen in merchant navy, I should not join. What is the message from your end to those people out there?
See, you should not get discouraged by one thing. You see, after this incident, the shipping community has come together. So many incidents have happened, and the shipping community is working together. Whether it is the managing offices in Bombay and Delhi, they are together. Whether it is internationally, they are together. They are communicating with each other. See, if whether it is any incident which happened, whether it is with shipping or without outside shipping, if you are in another country, you will face problems. That is a fact. But if the shipping community is together, then there are very little chances of you getting injustice. But when you are joining it, see, anything whichever you are doing, you should do it with your full knowledge as well as your, I'll say, you should give 100% to it, not like just taking it lightly. Like as we were discussing earlier also, before this, that you should be sincere on your job when you are doing it. Just don't take it for granted, we'll do it next day or this thing. Your logbooks, bookkeeping should be proper, and whatever you do it whatever you have been taught the right way, or whatever is there in your ISM, or all these things which you go through till you reach whichever designation you are working at. You should follow that. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Okay, like logbook I will fill after my next watch. No, your watch is finishing today. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes after your watch and fill your logbook. What's there? If you will get late for dinner for 10 minutes. No, that's okay. If something happens during those, once you are having your dinner or till your next watch, you will be blamed for that. Nobody else. Because accidents, any incidents which happen, you don't know beforehand that okay, it's going to happen at that time. Otherwise, you could have already avoided it. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Okay, like even night orders. If your reliever is coming, get it signed from him before you leave. Whether it's a chief officer, like usually some ships I have seen, chief officer says, okay, I'll sign afterwards. You leave. No, you make sure he signs before you leave your watch. Otherwise, you will be penalized that you didn't hand over the watch properly. If something happens during chief officer's watch and he has not signed his night orders book, or maybe he collapses. A very simple example. You give your hand over your watch to chief officer. He says, "Okay, I'll sign the night order books later," and he has a heart attack. He dies. What will be the consequences? You won't be able to. You can't imagine also something or some after that some incident happens. There is a collision. They say, "Okay, you didn't hand over the watch properly to him. That's why this thing happened." That fellow is gone, but you will be blamed for that incident. So, you have filled your logbook. You have signed your night order book, but chief officer has not signed it. Master has written. He is right, but you are wrong, because in the handing over watch, this thing is important. Whether it's in the engine room, also same thing. They say, no, after coffee I'll sign it. No, you get it signed and then you leave, or you wait for him to have his coffee then. These things will be important. Anytime in your life, anything can happen. So, if you are careful, you are doing your job properly, I don't think anything can go wrong. See, our logbooks and everything was in our favor. Still, it took us 18 months of our life. We went through hell. If one thing was improper, then maybe
even that simple sentence of saying few minutes and 5 to 10 minutes changed the course of the.
Yes.
They called you liar that time.
Yes. See, it is. That's why I think I always tell whoever I'm talking to, small things are very important. Just don't take it for granted. Here, same night order books captain is writing every day. If you can't understand it, even one word, ask. Call the master if you can't understand it. the person whom you are relieving, he cannot explain it to you, call the captain. He says, sir, I can't understand what you have written here. No problem, he will be angry one day, but he will save your ass. You say, even my junior officer who was not there on watch, second officer who came for boat stations when the alarm was rang, he was interrogated full day. For what? For the procedures on board. Third officer, okay, he came on the bridge after the alarm rang. So he could have been asked something. What about second officer who was not there? They were questioning him also. Why? Because of the procedures. Whether the ship was following the correct procedures or not.
Sir, yes, please.
Yeah.
Sir, now when we are talking about this, how many incidents as such do happen? We don't have the sort stats in shipping industry where such kind of incidents happen and people are prosecuted like this in criminal. I guess
Quite a bit. These things have been happening for long, but nobody wants to read about seafarers earlier. Nowadays, okay, people are getting aware.
still it's very less.
Yeah.
Thanks to social media, a little bit awareness. Like you can, the latest cases, empty heroic Eden seafarers struggling out there to get out.
But see, social media also, they are lot of plus and minus points about that also, because lot of, I'm sorry to say that, many of these people who are to increase their viewership, they sometimes speak whatever they don't even know.
You're right. Not sorry to say, but that's the right thing.
They, like in the incident about the ship which ran aground last year near Maldives.
Okay.
There, I was going through one of the YouTube channel. What he was saying about pollution and all about seafarers was totally wrong. I don't agree with. Earlier, he had made such good YouTube videos, but after that, I stopped seeing his videos because he is not talking about facts. Because he doesn't know. He is not a seafarer. He doesn't know what all could have happened. You just can't go on the media and start blaming the master or anybody like that without knowing it. Let the court proceedings go.
Definitely.
See, just don't blame anybody because you don't know the facts. Whatever media is telling you, just don't start commenting on that, because that thing will be used in the court. See, the opposition's lawyers say, see, this is what the world thinks about you. Why you want to spoil somebody else's life by just making a video? He's got a family. Let people decide who are there in the courtroom with the facts. Yeah, okay, if he is not getting a fair trial, agreed, then you come up. If you see, okay, the other party is very strong, like this poor fellow, the company has discarded him and all that stuff, then you come forward and put everything on the media. But before that, if you don't know about, see, you are sitting in an European country and you are talking about some other country which you have not visited also. What you know about what happened? You are not going through the interrogation. There is a pollution and they were trying to go near this thing. So that doesn't mean that he is at fault. In that incident, if that water is navigable, he can go there. It's his right. If he is going in a no-go area, agreed. But if he is going in a navigable waters and something happens, there could have been something else also to it. Let the investigators do the thing. So that is one thing I'll try to. It's just an advice that don't follow these things blindly.
It's a point well taken. I'll be very honest. Recently, one of my friends told me that a lot of your videos are opinion based. You just share your opinion about it. They are not fact based. So now, even though a lot of my videos are still opinion based, because opinions are made on the kind of people that I meet in shipping industry. because at times that is also very important. But now my focus is also on facts. Unfortunately, I do not find a lot of facts coming in the shipping industry, but I'm giving my best shot, but I'll keep trying. That's a promise. And apart from that, another promise that I make today is that I'll be covering, like I'm making a digital shipping series of eminent shipping personalities. I'll be making a series on a legal series as well. So not just covering your, but people who can guide us on different case studies and what all as seafarers we need to know, because sometimes we give it a big jump, but it is important. We need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to know. So we see awareness is. I believe, sir, it is important. See, knowing what are the harmful effects if we do not fulfill logbook properly. Harmful effects are not filling the night order book properly. Harmful effects are not writing the bell order book properly. If people know, then they'll be more careful about it, and it can save someone, right, sir?
It's true. See, now very simple thing people do to avoid taking a site. They say cloudy skies. Very simple. They write it cloudy skies. But if I go through this thing, and that day they take up the weather report of that place, and they say, okay, clear skies, nothing was there. So this fellow is not writing his logbook properly. So everything will be bullshit in that thing.
Now everything changes.
See, everything changes. But why you don't want to take the site? Very simple. It's the basics, which we were taught. Just to avoid 10 minutes going out on the bridge wing and taking a site, and you are ruining your own life. And it hardly takes 10 minutes. Well, see, I'm from the deck side, so I'll explain more things about that. Even engine room also. Why you want to write a temperature if one thermometer is not working? See, in the interrogation, if one of the oilers says, "Arey, sir, that thermometer it is not working for 1 month," your life is ruined. You ask your chief engineer to arrange for the thermometer. Write it's faulty. Put it in the logbook, faulty. Because with one line, they say if you are doing one thing wrong, you will be doing. It's but natural. You must have forged other things also. Something happens to the engine or something. Who will cover the legal cost for it? Yes. Legal or basically something breaks down. So you are an engineer. You must be knowing much.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
See, they do it. If they are taking temperature of 5 units, 4 units temperature is working, they say 5 unit ka bhi wahi hoega. Very simple, and then I write it down. Why you want to do that? It's not working, it's not working. Very simple. And when I was a master, I never used to discourage chief engineer for not writing which is not working. Okay, send it to the company, it's not working. If they let them shout. See, that same superintendent will shout at you, why didn't you inform me?
Later, when the case has gone wrong.
Put it in black and white and send it to him. Then it's his headache. Whether that thing costs $1 or $1 million. You have made your point clear. Very simple. Go by that thing. And even if you have to lose a job for that, I don't think that is anything wrong in that. Nobody will take your job for that.
Definitely, sir. I completely agree.
See, whatever is right, you do it. See, I was with V-ships. Many people like me. Some people don't like me also. I will not say I started them as a cadet, but this thing was this thing. Whatever is there, I used to put it in black and white and send it. Whether you agree or not. Because afterward, it's you who have to answer. The port state or
Marine Police
or anybody. Anything which is not working, okay, this fellow knew. He will be also brought in the courtroom with you. If they say, okay, why did you take the ship out if this thing was not working? I said, I informed, he said to take it out. What can I do? He's my. But if something is there which is totally illegal, you have to put your foot down. Sir, I'm not doing it.
Very rightly said. In this video, a lot of dark side of merchant navy has been covered. But I think so ki we all need to be aware of the dark as well as the bright side. A lot has happened in the past, but again, this should not discourage, because to be very honest, you go to any profession of any industry anywhere, there are going to be a lot of pros and cons of any profession out there. Such cases do happen, need to be aware. But what do we need to learn is what corrective actions we need to take. We need to be aware, we need to be knowledgeable about that, and then the corrective actions need to be taken. And with this, all I can say is let's keep moving ahead, let's keep growing, let's keep our national flag flying high in the maritime community. Let us all Indian seafarers unite together and make a strong brotherhood, because communities do matter, because that's what we learned from this case study. And whichever ship we work on, let us ensure that the maritime community realizes the potential of each and every Indian seafarer out there. With this, all I can say is thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata. Thank you, Captain Sahab.
Thank you very much.